Welcome to Business Mastery with Dawn Kennedy, your quick under 45-minute dose of expert insights and strategies to make a positive impact on your business and life. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Business Mastery Podcast. Today, we're talking about personal branding, but we're going to be talking very much about how you want to show up in the world. And especially in a very low trust environment like we are today, it's very important to consider these perceptions in the marketplace as well as what you're putting out there. So I have Jake here to talk all things personal branding and then the perceptions of the marketplace, all the things. So you should be able to walk away with this episode with some real aha moments and things you can do immediately in your own business. So Jake, thanks so much for joining me.
Of course. So excited to be here and talk about all of this.
I am so excited. I know this is your passion project, so I'm so grateful we're going to get this out into the world to this audience. So can you tell everyone who you are and who you serve?
Yeah, my name is Jake Isham. I'm a filmmaker turned marketer. I jokingly say I'm an accidental marketer. Don't have an MBA in this or anything like that. I went to film school and basically figured out, what do I do with this degree? How do I make money with this? To make a film is a long time and a lot of money and a lot of resources. So I had to figure out what to do in between, because they don't tell you what to do in between. They just say, good luck. Uh, and so I picked up this social media thing over a decade ago, but this before it was kind of cool and hip and a job. And basically learned that my skill set in storytelling and directing really came into play working with entrepreneurs and helping bring their story, helping build their personal brands, and really help them get out there, because I work with them, like you could say, as a coach, but as a director. Most people think about it like in the sense of going to the gym, but it really is just that personal trainer, that accountability, because more than ever, as we're going to dive into, how important it is to build a personal brand.
Right. Yeah. So for our podcast chat, when we were talking, the one thing I kept writing down and kept hearing was who you are is what you post. And I went, oh, that is so interesting. So let's just start there. When you say who you are is what you post, what does that really mean?
So I always like to give the example, because I work with a lot of, you could say, first time content CEOs, CEOs that are posting for the first time, or, just saying, okay, great, I'm going to actually like do this. And, you look at sometimes at their profiles and you'll see a spattering of different things, photos of their kids, photos of their animals, their meals, it's just kind of like, oh, let me just kind of post, right? What are you then? You're like, are you, if you post just about your kids, you're coming off as a parent, which is, there's nothing, again, I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm talking about using social media as a vehicle to grow your business. That's what we're talking about. So if you look at it through the frame of that, like, if you want to just post about your family, that's great. But you won't be known as the entrepreneur, the CEO, the whatever other branding you want. And like, this was something, it was a hard lesson I learned very early on, where I call PR perceived reality, not public relations. And that's where, again, the early journey, and I'll tell you the story about it, is like how I kind of came up around with this idea of you are what you post. And I was right outside of film school. I was working with some nonprofits. It was a great deal. I didn't get paid, but I got to travel. It was great for the first couple months, and then I realized,
Right.
I have to pay bills.
I have to eat.
I got food paid for when I was traveling, but when I was back home, I didn't get any food. So
Right.
basically, I'd go out. Like, one of the trips I had was to Japan. I was out there for a week. 6 days, I was working directly with the executive director of this, filming her, getting all the behind the scenes, getting all the content. And then I had 1 day in Japan to go have fun and to go for me, it was street photography. That's still a huge passion of mine. And I had a day where I got to like shoot all this amazing photography. And this is, again, while you were still like, this was over a decade ago, when you would post in real time. People weren't like, oh, let me batch shoot stuff, like, where it's common practice now, right?
Right.
this was like, okay, great. I had 1 day in Japan and essentially where I was, free and I got, let's say about, 60 great photos. So then I got back home to Los Angeles and I started just kind of trickling them out over the next like 2, 3 weeks. And I remember waking up one Sunday morning, scrolling through Facebook. This was when Facebook was still cool with the youth, and seeing a bunch of photos of a friend's party. And I texted him, being like, "What the heck? Where was my invite?" He's like, "Bro, you're in Japan. I just saw your Instagram." I was like, "No, I'm in LA." I'm like, "I'm sitting on my couch." And that's when I realized, like, you are what you post.
Yeah.
And the same thing was true even just this last 4th of July. I posted some old photos of when I was in, Florida for 4th of July, having taken some photos there, and I posted it this year, 5 years later. People were like, hit me up, "Oh my god, are you in Florida right now? Let's say hi, let's get coffee, let's." I'm like, "Nope, I'm in LA." So it is still rings true that, you are what you post. You have to be so conscious of it, and that's where it's like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known as? Like all these little questions that you can kind of self check, looking at like, what would somebody perceive me as if they looked at my Instagram? If they looked at my Facebook, if they looked at my LinkedIn.
Okay, so now I'm gonna poke that bear a little bit because
Do it.
if you listen to the marketing people or read the books or do the things, and they'll say, your bio over here needs to look a certain way, or your bio over here is a different way, or well, that doesn't belong on LinkedIn, or that doesn't belong on Facebook, and you get this siloing of social media. And there are a ton of people who are excellent business owners who are like, well, I don't wanna stand out. I mean, I'm behind the scenes. I'm making the decisions. I'm dodging the arrows and keeping the armor on and kinda keeping things rolling. Why would they need to know anything about me? It's my business. So I know that's gonna poke the bear a little, and we've had that conversation. So let's bring it forward. What are we doing? Because you are flying in the face of what just about every marketing suggestion has been over, I would say, the last 8 years.
So I think there's kind of two things we're addressing here, which is one, let's talk about like, do you have a personal brand or not? Like, let's
Okay.
just talk about that. And that really is a personal choice.
Mhm.
Like, I was literally just talking to an entrepreneur yesterday, literally while driving, and I was like, "Hey, I would love to do a podcast episode with you. I'm starting my own podcast, and he's a great entrepreneur." He's like, "I really don't care. Like, I really just I don't want to be in front of a camera." Like, he's like, it's time away from building the business, and that makes sense.
Okay.
That totally makes sense, and, like, I know another entrepreneur who is now a billionaire and, like, just doesn't care because he's just putting his head down, but, like, for what he's doing, like, he made his money this other entrepreneur that I'm the second entrepreneur that I'm not referring to, made his money, um, buying Jiffy Lubes and wrapping them all up, basically creating Jiffy Lube franchises,
Right.
and he doesn't need to build a personal brand to do that.
Okay.
Like, you don't need to. Now, if you want it depends on what you're wanting to do. You look at a guy like Steve Jobs. This was again pre-social media, but the man had a personal brand, right? He was in front of those keynotes. People knew the name Steve Jobs. And I'm gonna take politics aside, I think one of the greatest personal brands out there, just in terms of a marketing standpoint, is Elon Musk,
Mhm.
right? You look at it regardless of politics, we're talking about marketing here,
Right.
is
Whatever he stands for, but he's never
like,
behind the
he sta
scenes.
and he stands for something.
And
He
he's
stands for
outspoken.
something.
Yeah.
He's vocal, you know? And again, there's another guy in a colleague of mine that's massive in fitness, millions and followers, makes gobs of money, and we've talked about content where he's got a couple rules: no religion, no politics,
Right.
only fitness. Those are the rules for social. If you want, like, we do not post about anything like that, and he sticks to those rules. So then he's known just by fitness. Now, he lives and dies by his personal brand. Like, he needs to that's how he's grown his entire business as a fitness guy. But you look at Elon Musk, that's how Tesla's valuation is lives and dies by his personal
Yeah.
brand.
So
But
that's
he's
good and
also
bad
been
too.
able to build Tesla to the speed it has because of his personal brand. And it is a conscious choice. A great example that I li like to use is the difference between Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah.
Both kind of relatively in the same space, you could say, the marketing, the kind of coaching, not coaching, the thought leader space of entrepreneur and marketing. Grant shows his kids and shows his family, shows his wife, and shows that side of his life in addition to business, etc. Gary V doesn't show his kids, does not show his wife, does not show any personal life, just shows the business, just shows the hustle, just shows all the work. So my point in saying that is that there's no hard, fast rule. It's what do you want to show? What do you want to be known as? Do you want to also be known as a dad and like how I raise kids? Because Grant is trying to also show this is how you raise kids. Here's and helping build his daughter's personal brands so that they can become their own thought leaders. Where Gary's like, hey, we just talk about business here. We're just talking about marketing. You know, we're just showing all of these elements. So that's where I always go back to. It's like it's just whatever you want to show. If you want to talk about this, you can. If you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. So that's
So
kind of that first topic on building a personal brand or not.
yeah, so before we go to the second topic, because you just brought up something really quite incredible and amazing. Anybody who's followed Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, for any length of time would know that he started, I think, in his dad's liquor store and he
Mhm.
was doing wine review videos. And you can still find these wine review videos from 15 years ago.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's like,
Did over
wow.
1,000 videos.
Right,
Over
right.
1,000 videos.
Right. So can we talk about the fact that it's evolved, although the message is probably pretty consistent, and I think that might be something we need to kind of talk about is your personal brand could evolve with you, but it doesn't change who you are. So authenticity from the start.
Mhm. I mean,
Do you
Gary and
like
Grant are both great examples.
yeah.
I'm a fan of Grant Cardone, so I'm just gonna use him as an example.
Yeah. Did
But
he do wine videos?
no, but
I
he
don't know
started
him.
like,
This
if you just
that
think
way.
of it like a personal brand, like,
Yeah.
this is again, like, who are you? What do you talk about? He
Right.
started off as a car salesman,
Okay. I didn't know that.
and then he came up and became "Oh, I'm crushing at car sales. I can teach people how to sell cars." Brand evolved. Then he went, I'm crushing at teaching people how to sell cars. I can teach people how to just sell.
Mm,
Doesn't have to be just cars. It can be just this or that or whatever business I can teach. I can help improve your sales. So then, oh, people are selling. And again, this is all with his own personal development. And the same thing with Gary, right? Started, I'm working for my dad behind the counter. I'm the cashier. To then, okay, I need to help grow my dad's business. Let me help. There's this thing called the internet and YouTube. Maybe that'll help. Let me try it. Excuse me. And then, oh, I've built an entire, you know, I think he like over 10 and a half x'd his dad's business.
right.
He like 13x his dad's business in 8 years by doing these videos. And went, oh, okay, we have something here. I can help other brands now do this. Starts Vayner Media. Oh, I can help other entrepreneurs do this. I can help invest in businesses. Now that I'm making money, I'm investing in business. Like he's now an investor. Like your brand grows with you. And one of the things I always talk about, especially to like younger entrepreneurs who are getting into the space or getting into like, what do I talk about? It's like, well, you got to slay dragons. Like which, because it goes back to, again, I go back to storytelling. You're the protagonist. You're the Luke Skywalker. You're the Frodo Baggins. You're the Harry Potter. Like if Harry Potter, the reason why we like Harry Potter versus, XYZ, background character is because he is the one to defeat he who shall not be named. But that's why we like Harry's story is because he's the one having to defeat the dragons. And so you have to go look at like, what are the dragons you've had to defeat?
That that's very interesting when you point that out because in real time, all of these other characters were also there in the frame, right? So
Mhm.
Harry was at Hogwarts, and I don't remember the whole story. I didn't even finish all the books, but my kids have all the movies, right? I'm aging myself. Um, But all those other characters were around there in real time, but we do remember Harry. So I think there's something maybe to your point that even if, maybe you do decide that you wanna build a personal brand as the entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that the business necessarily has to go by the wayside. Everybody remembers Hogwarts, but to your point, they really know Harry's story.
Yeah, and I look at building a personal brand is it allows you to then evolve and your audience will then continue to buy from you as long as you keep providing them the correct value and you don't take advantage of your audience.
Right.
You look at again, to go back to somebody like Elon Musk. Go, "Okay, great. Oh, I'll buy a Tesla from you. I'll buy Starlink from you. I'll, s look at, just the next things he does." Like, great. It doesn't matter what he's buying. I'm trying to think of blanking on every entrepreneur now, but, like, Grant Cardone's another great one. Like, whether you, again, like him, don't like him, like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy the next thing he puts out because he's helped you." And so as long as you keep helping people, they'll keep exchanging with you.
So this is the next part, and I think this is the one that probably stops people from doing a personal brand more than anything else. And this is the idea that you have to be comfortable understanding you're not for everyone. Um,
Yeah, just the same way your business is not for everyone. You don't
Right.
serve everyone. Even though you're like, "Oh, we serve everyone." It's like, no, you don't.
Right.
Even like Disneyland, right? Let's just take Disneyland. Oh, it serves everyone. There's a price point to get in there. It's like $150 a ticket.
Wow.
Low, low income individuals are either saving up for a year or years to go to Disneyland. It's not for everyone.
Right.
Also, like the same way a football game is not for everyone. Like, it has a broad mass appeal, but it's not for everyone. So, your personal brand is not for everyone, but just speak to who you need to speak to. So again, my background is as a filmmaker and as an artist, and one of the things that's talked about, especially in the artist space, is 1,000 true fans.
Mm.
All you need is 1,000 true fans who are willing to pay you $100 a year, and you're making $100,000 a year. Like
It's
that's
a
all you need is
reframe.
you know, one really good, like 1,000 true fans. That's all you really need to survive as an artist. Like, okay, maybe you get, it's 2,000 true fans and they're paying you $50 a year, you know?
Right. But it's
But
such a reframe from the idea of I don't know what to post because I don't want to offend anyone or have somebody misperceive my brand or something like that. Or, I don't want my business to be, um, eh, you know, off- I don't want to offend anyone or I don't want to turn anybody away from potentially being a customer. And this is such a real reframe that, hey, you have to be comfortable understanding that you're not for everyone. And the idea of legitimately 1,000 true fans. I don't think I've heard that before, and it makes
Mm.
so much sense in the art space, but it makes sense in the business space. You
Yep.
don't
You look at your customers and there's a great, the $1,000,000 math. I mean, Grant Cardone talks about it, but like a lot of this is not a Grant Cardoneism. It's just
Right. Yeah, it's
basic economics.
yeah.
You look at like, okay, great. I sell a product for $20. If I wanted to make $100,000 a year, how many would I need to sell? Okay. Can I sell that on if I sell it, can I create a business where it's a subscription, $20 a month? Like, for example, that gentleman who does fitness, that colleague of mine, he has a fitness app. It's $50 a month. He has a lot of people paying him $50 a month. A lot of people. So, like, definitely a millionaire.
But to your point, people know what they're going to get because he is very, very narrow in the lane of what he does and
I
focused
talk Yeah,
and
fitness.
authentic of for what he does. Yeah.
And I think the easiest way to do, like, your look at your brand is look at, like, what do you wanna talk about and what do you not wanna talk about? And just write them down.
Right.
And it's really clear. Okay, great. If your business is I'm gonna pick a right power washing, right? Great. I talk about power washing. I don't talk about everything else. Okay? Or power washing. I want to talk about power washing, but I also love football. So I'm going to talk about power washing and I'm going to talk about football. And when I do power washing, I'm going to make the logos of all the NFL teams as a fun little shtick. So great. Do you see how that becomes a little bit more of the brand? And yeah, you could put it under the company, but it also, why not just put it under your name and you become the guy who power washes logos
Right.
into people's driveways? Because then you get hardcore NFL fans who will pay extra for custom designs. So their driveways are not spotless clean, but they have cool, amazing designs in their driveway to support their team.
That's cool.
Like you now can start charging a premium for that. Not, oh, it's $100 to power wash, but now it's $300 if you want your team's logo in it.
Yeah. Right. No, this is
And that coming off, that's just me coming off the spot, but like put the things you like together in a bucket, put the things that like, okay, like for me, I don't talk about politics. And that's why, like, as you noticed when I mentioned Elon Musk, I was like, this is not political.
yeah, I don't talk about yeah, we also we have some very hard and fast rules about
Yeah.
those things, not because maybe we don't have an opinion, but the opinion is not our personality.
It's
It's that
irrelevant
collateral.
brand.
Yeah, it's irrelevant for a lot of things, right? It's kind of collateral. I would have a very hard time, I think, finding anybody who doesn't have opinions on things, but those opinions it doesn't necessarily affect your day to day and things. They're collateral.
Yeah.
They could be opinions on anything.
And I know guys who, you know, love just debating politics.
Mm,
They like enjoy it. So they post about it a lot. I'm like, okay. And look, and that's my point is it's to each his own.
right.
And the whole point of building a personal brand is to build that tribe, is to
Mhm.
build that community, is to build the people who are like-minded with you.
Okay. So to the second part of the question, or the second,
Yeah.
the conventional wisdom, and I'm going to say it's conventional wisdom because it is very siloed. You can find people who truly are experts in Instagram or LinkedIn, or they're experts in the algorithms and the Facebook and all the things. And I don't diminish that in any way. I think it takes a lot of skill and talent to be able to get those algorithms to behave. My point is if you are a business owner and you don't have, let's say, an in-house marketing expert on LinkedIn or something, then what's the next thing you do? Is you either find a coach to work with for a few months or someone for a season, or you read Marketing for Dummies or Social Media for Dummies, or you pick up the book, or you go and you have a newsletter that comes to you. Almost any of like the e-commerce sites and a lot of like the POS systems like Square and some of those, they have newsletters that they'll send to you about what's working in the marketing and things like that. And if you take that conventional wisdom, they're going to tell you the bio for this one looks this way and this looks this way and the format of your content, right? So whether it's horizontal or vertical or this or that, or I think even Canva sends emails. I think they're all relevant and amazing. But listening to you here, you're like, look, you're looking for 1,000 raving fans. You're not necessarily looking to put yourself on every single platform. Maybe that's not relevant, or if it is, or how can you mix that authenticity with the rules of the individual platforms people are using?
So I have a really simple framework that I've learned that makes this really easy for, especially for the complicate, like what are we doing? How are we doing? So to get you out of the thinking. First is you just got to make any content. What content do you enjoy making? Do you like making videos by yourself? Would you like to do a podcast? Would you like to write? Do you like to just speak? And so you want to just do an like it doesn't matter. What are you willing to do that you're going to continue doing? So that's the first thing. Or is there a platform that you like consuming content on? Like, for example, you love watching long form YouTube videos. So you understand, you have more reality and affinity for that platform.
Now, I need to stop you for a second.
Sure.
How many entrepreneurs have you asked the question, how do you like to make content or how do you like to educate or share or whatever? How many of them can actually answer the question? I don't know that I have seen too many people actually ask the question, how do you like to make content? How do you like to consume content? I think most of the time it's okay, we're going to post 3 days a week on Facebook because our people are on Facebook and twice a week on Instagram and then 2 articles a month on LinkedIn. And they don't consider the creator. How many people can actually articulate, well, when I think about it, this is what I like. I'm like you though. I'm a documentary. Like I consume those long
Yeah.
documentaries. Those are my things. So so
And
how
it makes sense. You have a long form video podcast.
right. So how many people can just answer that question though? Or how many people
I
are
mean, I get all my clients to first answer it. It's the first thing I ask.
okay, so hi, this is a Business Mastery Podcast. Has anybody ever asked you the question? And actually, I do want to know down in the
Yeah.
comments when you're watching this, because I don't know that that question's maybe asked when it should absolutely be the first one.
Yeah. And so it's like, what content do you like to consume
Yeah.
on what platform? And if you, being that, if they're talking to me, they're looking at starting to create content. Right. And so it's like,
Yeah.
well, do you have a preference on, because at the end of the day, it's like, I always compare social media to the gym and working out.
Okay.
My wife, for example, refuses to lift weights. Refuses. Her background is as a dancer. She's like, I don't want to be bulky. I don't want but she'd happily go to do aerial. She loves like aerial silk, the whole Cirque du Soleil
Oh
type
yeah.
workouts. She
Okay.
loves that. She'd go every morning if she could. So you you have to like pull her away from that type of workout. You'd have to literally drag her by her toes to get her into a gym. So why would I do the same thing with if somebody's like, I really do not want to be on camera? Don't put them on camera. Like,
What
don't.
a permission slip you are giving right now to everybody who is hearing this for the first time and going, but this is what we were told that we had to do.
Now, look, there are things that are going to be more successful than not, but I'm talking about like this. Like, I'm all about gradients and building it up over time.
Yeah.
And you'll see that with this framework is like, so the first thing is like, great, let's just start. What do you want to do? The same way, like again, working out. Just do any workout. Go on a walk. Go on a run. Like, do something. Move the body.
Yeah.
Stretch for 10 minutes. So then it's like, okay, great. Now build that content a little bit more often. So great. Let's say you're going to make videos, short form vertical videos, because you like TikTok. So great. You did a TikTok. Great. Can we shoot, you know, and put out 3 a week? Can we put out 1 a day? It's a 1-minute video. Pick up your phone and go, hey, so this is what I think, blah, 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 blah. You should blah, 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 blah. Great. Post. Good. Consistent. The whole game of social media is consistency over a long term. I look at like, especially I explain it to entrepreneurs because they understand it, which is it's very much like compound interest,
Mhm.
building your personal brand. It's you're not going to see anything in the beginning. You're going to see absolutely zero in the beginning. But over time, and again, just like compound interest, you keep depositing every day social media content. 5 years, you look up and you go, holy, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but holy bleeping, bleep, 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 bleep. Wow.
We know those words on this podcast.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
For example, my brother is a singer-songwriter, and he's been working his butt off on social media, trying to make anything pop, getting 200 views, 300 views. It was demoralizing, and he'd been doing it for a while. And just literally yesterday, within less than 24 hours, he had a video that's last night we looked at it, which was 2.2 million views. Because he kept going, like, am I shadow banned? Am I this? Am I that? I don't know. And he just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept posting, kept posting, kept posting, kept posting, kept posting. 2.2 million views. And I'm probably, if we look at it this morning, it's probably over 3 million views. So you just have to keep post. So that's where the consistency goes in. Then the next level up above that is just post that same content on more platforms. Don't overthink it. Don't again, if you're making videos for TikTok, just post the same video on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Great. You've now 4x'd the amount of content you're putting out.
So
Just by posting it on more platforms.
without having to chop it up and change the views and redo
Same thing. Just
yeah,
post the same if you're doing a long form YouTube video, post it on Rumble, post it on Facebook, post it on X. For example, I have a client that I shoot a digital show with. He's an entrepreneur. We basically create kind of like an elevated podcast, which I call a digital show. He interviews people while he golfs. He's a commercial real estate broker and he loves to golf. So we created this show where it's like comedians in cars getting coffee, but like business real estate mixed with golf
I
instead.
love it. Yeah.
He posted his first episode on X and got over 100,000 views. This is a 20-minute video
Right.
that got over 100,000 views on X. Want to know how many followers he has? 600.
Wow.
Like, so again, he's posting it on YouTube. He's posting it on Facebook. He's posting it on LinkedIn. But again, you don't know where it's going to pop off. You don't know what video is going to pop off where. So if there is a medium to recommend, I recommend video content. That's where most people are consuming the type of content. So try to make video content. And then again, so that next phase is just post it on more platforms.
Yeah.
After you are posting more content, right? You're doing, a video a day type of thing on 5 platforms and you're being consistently doing that. And I'm talking about months.
Yeah.
And you're growing, you're getting viral videos, you're getting reach, you're growing your business. Because we're doing this we're not doing this for fun. We're doing this to grow our business. This is work. This is business. This is marketing. This is promotion. So if it's not growing our business, why are we doing this?
Right.
And then you can start specializing. Oh, okay, great. Now I've built the business. This is making money. We're actually growing. We're getting leads. We're selling more. Good. Now I can hire someone to go, great. I'm going to hire a graphic designer to make cool Instagram content, to better make my YouTube thumbnails. Now they're going to make content specifically more for Instagram, specifically more for LinkedIn. Now I'm going to go, great. Let's make longer form YouTube videos. And we're going to make an edit for LinkedIn and make an edit for YouTube. Great. Like, only at that point, because you're putting 17 carts in front of the horse by doing it the other way.
Okay.
Get really good at a platform and just keep expanding slowly.
This is such a good segue to the other topic you and I talked about before recording. And if you have authentically built months and months and months of daily or weekly content, whether it's video, writing to your point, all the things, that also will help with the thing we were talking about when I said, I was having a conversation with someone and their 10-year-old assumes that everything they see on YouTube is AI.
Yeah. And that's where like really building that personal brand is so important, especially now with the rise of AI influencers. Like I'll give you a really scary story on the flip side of this. This is when you've become so big that, and it's wild. So a friend of mine, his father is a very big influencer in the health space.
Right.
And his father passed away a number of years ago. And he's one of the biggest names in the health space. And this year, and then his son runs a very large marketing company and is very bullish on AI, very, very bullish on AI. And he was just telling me at dinner a couple weeks ago, people are making AI videos of his father saying other things. So yes, it can happen, but like that's where, and it's a little hard because this gentleman has passed away. So we
Right.
can't be like, that's not true. That's not me. And he himself is putting out videos. So the best way, but what's great about it is that there's an army of fans going like, "This is AI. This video is false," and going, "His real channel is here." And if you build a library of you, people will know you and what you stand for.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point here is even more than 5 years ago, just starting and just building the videos and, it's like, do they look well produced? No. Don't you love my studio and my camera and all that? Right? No. Because the truth is we're just trying to get it out there, right? So now more than ever, I think beyond the idea of needing a personal brand or choosing not to have one, but I think everybody who is listening in here is a business owner that probably has a need for one if they don't already have one. But to your point, the platform doesn't matter because you can always adapt to it once you have 1,000 raving fans, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
Mm. But I think the critical turn in this conversation is if you don't take the lead on this and do it when it's amateur, when it's ugly, when it's just you talking in the camera, when it's you just having a good idea, if it's you just putting things out there, there is a real danger that when you do it professionally and pretty and you hire all the right people that they won't know it's you.
Yeah, or just, all right, you've waited 5 years to do it. It's waiting 5 years to go to the gym.
Yeah,
That's why, like, I always compare it to social media to the gym, like, when's the best time to work out and compound interest? When's the best time to invest?
yeah. 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So when
Second
should I
best
have started
time?
building my personal brand?
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years ago.
Second best time?
Today.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's the same thing, and yeah, there's a great quote, I forget who said it, but I think I heard it from Glenn Powell, as silly as that is everything you want is on the other side of cringe.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. So we're all gonna be cringy. We're just gonna go and do it to your point.
But the cringe is in you.
Right.
Others are not gonna look at it cringe, and the people that are above you are the people who've done it, and the people, they're never gonna go, "Oh, you're cringy." They're, like, gonna go, "I was there. I understand." It's the people who are not doing it, the people who wish they were doing it are gonna be the ones judging you, not the
Right.
people who are on the journey, not the people who are ahead of you, and it it takes a lot of courage to do it. It takes courage, but it takes courage to go to the gym and lose the weight. It takes courage to go, "I'm gonna take this 10% out of my paycheck, put it in the S&P 500, put it into this XYZ stock,
Yeah.
and hope it'll grow." It takes courage. It's not, "Oh, okay, whatever." Like, I run through it on my own personal brand constantly, and I do this for a living.
Yeah.
Like, we all do it. Like, that's why personal trainers exist. That's why financial brokers exist, is to help give you the confidence.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's very eye-opening when you put it in the real perspective that, believe it or not, there are Apple haters, right? So even though Steve Jobs had his own brand I know, how
Yeah.
yeah, they're the 2 to 3% of those Apple innovators that will camp out, in tents for 3 days if Apple were to release a string on a stick, and they would still buy it. Those people really do exist, and
Yeah.
there's no judgment in saying that. That's just an objective sort of fact in the marketplace. So the reframe of, "Look, you're looking for 1,000 people." The globe has what, 8,000,000,000, 7,000,000,000, 7.5 billion,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Um, that is a real perspective reframe that I think isn't really marketed very well out there in the world. It's all about 12,000,000 followers, not those loyal, 1,000 or 1,500 that really like what you have to say.
The best post that I constantly see people reposting versions of this, which is it's so beautiful, which is, close your eyes and picture a room of 20 people. That's a solid dinner party. Imagine being at a dinner table with 20 people. I know for me, my family is 9 deep when we get a reservation right now. And there's no grandkids yet. That's just siblings and their spouses. 9 deep. We're gonna have and if I go out with friends, we're talking, we get one other family with us, we're 15 deep,
Yeah.
right? Imagine a table of your 20, that's 20 people. That's 20 views right there on your video. Now, think of a stage of 100 people. You're speaking on stage in a small hall with 100, that's 100 views. Think of a stadium of 5,000 people. That's 5,000 views. If you look at the big basketball arenas, they're like 20,000 people.
Yeah.
The biggest soccer stadiums and football stadiums are 50 to 80,000 people. That's 50,000 views, 100,000 views right there. And so people get so like, oh, it needs to hit a million, it needs to hit a million. Like, no, what you need to do is just consistently keep posting. And if each video gets one new person to go, huh, who's this guy? Who's this gal? I want to see another one of their videos. There's a great example, additionally, in terms of just thinking of longevity of time, is Alex Hormozy did a video about when he was sitting at a conference at one of his meetups at Acquisition, and it's like, how many of you guys have heard about me in the last month? One person, and paid then $5,000 to show up at Vegas. One person raised their hand. One or two people raised their hand. He's like, what about the last 6 months? A couple more raised their hand. He said, over 2 years have you been following my content? Pretty much everybody raised their hand then.
Right.
It was like, look, your customers, it's not that they don't want to buy from you, it's that they just need more time.
Yeah.
So that's where, again, when's the best time to start doing this? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Right now. Because what you're doing is you're investing now so that in 2 to 3 years, they're giving you all their money and they're sold.
Yeah.
And that's where you hear the same thing about an email list. Just keep messaging your email list, keep messaging your email list. People being on people's email list for 10 years and then being like, great, here's $45,000.
Right.
Because they just wanted that high ticket thing from you. They didn't want a low ticket thing from you. They don't need another $27 course.
Right.
What they want is a $50,000 mastermind from you.
And it just takes a while. Sure.
But if you don't offer that, but you don't know, or you have this mailing list and you've never offered them anything, and then the moment you do say, hey, here's this $100 gizmo, boom, it's sold out in minutes. So it doesn't matter. Mailing list, that's again copy. Your videos, it doesn't matter. You just got to do it.
Right.
Is at the end of the day, and do it consistently, even when you're not seeing anything. Because again, take my brother's example. He was doing it for 2-3 years on and off. And in the last year, he said, okay, going hard, doing 3 videos a day on 4 platforms. And then had a 100,000 viewed video, and then now a video at over 2.5 million.
It's amazing.
Uh,
Okay. So where can people find you and get you to help them tell their stories and maybe help them define a personal brand? Because I think everybody listening in here at least has a new or different perspective on this than we did 40 minutes ago. So where can they
Well,
find you?
yeah.
Where can they?
LinkedIn is great. LinkedIn is a fantastic resource, and a way of connecting with me. Feel free to, DM me there. Additionally, if you just search my name, Jake Isham, on Google, you'll see probably 18 different versions of my social media. Unfortunately, they are all me. You'll see my photography, you'll see my filmmaking, you'll see, the marketing branding sides. I'm on every single platform, and unfortunately, I have multiple pages because each of them have their own audience. So feel free to follow any of them, message me on any of them. Definitely happy to help.
All right. So we're going to put those down inside the show notes and we'll take the top 5 Google results and we'll put those down in the show notes as well. So if you happen to find this podcast on the day that it launches, you can reach out then. And obviously, if you find us 3 years from now, you'll still be able to find Jake because He's consistently going to do this forever.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for this conversation. This is so important. And I do want to honor something you said, and that is so many times now in marketing, and I don't think it was ever a nefarious thing, but we've made numbers disconnect from the bodies that are actually those numbers. So instead of counting heads, we started counting numbers. So to your point, a football stadium full of fans, those are real humans and those are bodies and seats. And thank you for that perspective. I think it's really gotten lost.
Yeah, it's and just do the math of like, because I work with a lot of B2B entrepreneurs, and I go, you couldn't handle 10 new clients if they walked in your door today.
Right.
If they called your sales team, you couldn't handle onboarding 10 new clients. So shut up.
I love
Stop
it. Yes.
stressing. Just make content, because there will be a point where you will have 10 new clients that you onboard because a video will go viral and they will go, holy crap, you were what I have been looking for. And you will be then stressed out and want to stop all your social media because of it. So let's get that problem.
Yeah.
But you only have that problem by doing it.
Right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today and for this very important conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Amazing questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll talk to y'all next time on the next episode of the Profit Accelerator podcast. But before we sign off, because I keep getting reminded, if this is valuable to you, please subscribe, share, add us to your playlists, and
Do it.
see you again next week. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Business Mastery Podcast. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to DawnKKennedy.com, and you can now check us out on YouTube, as well as, of course, any of your favorite platforms that host podcasts. Take care.